Hey everybody! Tonight I want to talk about something that we got going on that's going to be coming out here real soon within the next few weeks, and that's our online training program and our continuing education program. We're calling it Borderline University. Now, and a lot of you are going to be saying, hey, you know, the best way to get training is hands-on training, and that's absolutely correct. Okay, if someone buys a certain package, from us, they're going to get hands-on training for free, and that's included in the package. But what happens with those people that buy a used set of equipment online or eBay or somewhere in their local area, and they got used equipment, and maybe they only got an hour or two of training from the person that was selling it to them, or they didn't get any training at all. Okay, so where do these people go? Now, a lot of guys, especially some of the other forums, when guys ask questions and they're new, some of those guys will say, hey, why don't you go get trained? Well, that's not feasible for everybody. Okay, so we have training, sites and manufacturers all over the country. Well, if you live in Texas, let's say you bought a set of used equipment and maybe you have a second job, maybe it was something you wanted to start doing on the weekend. Most people can't just take 3 or 4 days off, drive across the country, spend the money on either plane tickets or hotel rooms and things like that. It's just not feasible for a lot of people. So what do these guys do? Well, the first thing they do is they go to YouTube, and they're going to try to find videos to help them. Okay. Now, I think I've seen every single YouTube video out there, and most of them are not professional. They just have a video out there and they're just doing whatever they're doing. This last summer I tried to do as many videos as I could just to help guys that needed help, but those weren't that professional either. So what do we do with these guys that can't get that training, and what happens to them? Well, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, within a year or two, they're selling that equipment because they can't make a go of it, because they don't know exactly how to do it. As all of you know, it's not as easy as it looks. Okay, you have to be trained, and you have to know what to do. So for all of those, we're offering an online training program. Now, most concrete companies that major companies, let's say Vertical Artisans or some of these others that do a lot of training, they travel the country. Well, they have the same thing. You can go to their on-site training class. If it's feasible, if you can make it or whatever, and it costs this much money, or they offer you an online training course. And it's pretty simple. Like here's Vertical Artisans. They have everything on there for you. You can take their super course, and it's on sale now for $5,500 or whatever. Now, is something like that going to be as good as hands-on? No, it's not. I mean, when you can feel the concrete in your hand, the trowel, operate the machine, that is the absolute best way to do it. But if that's not feasible in your situation, you have to offer something to those people. Okay, so you can do an online training here, and the thing is, you can watch those videos over and over and over again. If you're on site, there's one bad thing. If you're on site and they show you something and you forget, you're on the phone, now you're calling, whatever else. Something like this you can watch over and over again. And what they do is after you pay for the course, you have a username and a password, and you can log in, whenever you want. Here's another one. These guys are out of Phoenix. It's Something Better Corporation. They teach all sorts of concrete stuff too. Again, these are online training courses. Now, what we've done, and again, this is going to come out here hopefully in the next few weeks. We've separated this whole online program into a training section, and the other half is a continuing education. Call it the master's program. Okay, and I'll explain each one. Now, in the training section, on the training side, you have what's called a pro training, professional training. We don't like to use the word beginners. That's just kind of you got your advanced, you got your beginners. We'll just call it a professional training. Makes it sound a little bit better. It's not as derogatory towards those new guys. Your pro training covers everything that you're gonna get at a on-site one-day training when you buy equipment, from operating the machine to mixing to finishing, and on on down the line all the way to, you know, coloring techniques and stamping with rollers, you know, everything that you're going to need to know to go out and do curb for, you know, 90% of the people out there. The other part of that is your advanced training. There's a lot of guys out there that really want to do the, you know, the carved stone, the natural stone type looks and things like that. That's a whole separate training, because that's a totally different thing than what you would be doing any, you know, a normal day of training with rollers and things like that. The advanced training is going to be a whole other section of that. That's going to cover everything from mixing ratios, you know, chemicals that you need to use, all the way down to the end. Now, the great thing about this is not just myself. This is a you know, selection of guys, professionals around the country that are going to be teachers in this. So, you know, a lot of these videos, obviously, you know, will be myself in these videos, but there's going to be plenty of them where we're going to have guys all around the country actually doing training videos on this. And it's not just, you know, your 3 or 4 minute YouTube video that, you know, I've been posting or whatever else in the last summer. Okay, it's going to be an advanced training. It's going to be hours and hours and hours of video, so you can understand and get what you need to make you successful. Now, again, is it going to be as good as a hands-on? No, nothing's ever going to be as good as hands-on, but this is going to be an option for everybody out there, you know, the more experienced guys that want to learn some advanced stuff, or some guys that just bought equipment that need to know how to run the machine, and maybe later they want to go to the advanced. Now, there's obviously plenty of companies out there that have been curbing this so long, they know what to do, they know how to run a machine. Maybe they're not interested in any of the advanced stuff, or maybe they already know how to do that. What do we do for them? Well, on the opposite side of this, okay, is our continuing education program. That's going to cover everything else that's not included in the training. The training side is all your physical stuff, your troweling, your mixing. It's all physical, it's all curbing. We all know when we try to run a business that half of the business is your physical, the other half is doing estimates, you know, and taking care of your books and hiring and firing and all that kind of stuff. So what do guys do with that around the country? Again, there's going to be a whole ton of people that are going to be giving their input and doing videos. It's not going to be just you know, some articles and things like that. This is all going to be videoed, and we're going to have all sorts of topics. I can read through some of these. I got them on my wall here, but you know, the differences in machines. It doesn't matter if it's a borderline machine. We can get guys that run every single type of machine. So if you're you know, you bought a blue machine, let's say, you're not sure how to change the bearings on it or whatever, there'll be videos on there showing guys that run these machines on what to do for maintenance, you know, and all that. You have, you know, bed edgers and sod cutters, differences. You know, there's places in the country where bed edgers work better than sod cutters. Prices, you know, how do you set your prices? Do you run cable? Do you not run cable? What kind of situations are you do you get in? What happens if somebody doesn't want to pay? You know, what kind of collection options do you have? There's just a ton of stuff. Social media, how to market, hiring and firing employees. You know, what do you pay them? You pay them by the foot, by the hour. You know, website building. We also want to put templates on there. You know, why should you have to go to a printing company to make business cards and brochures and, you know, door hangers, even your invoices and your estimate forms? Those are all templates that we'd like to have on there, so if you know, wanted those, you'd have access to them. You know, it's just one of those things where we can put, you know, dozens and dozens of topics on there, and every month you keep adding and adding more and more videos, and so it's just an ongoing thing. One of the great things that we can do with this also is we've decided that we can do you know, 3-4 times a month you can do live question and answer sessions. This can all be set up by making another Facebook page just for the university, and those people that are members can go ahead and log in when we have a question and answer session, and there can be multiple teachers on that video. Everything is, you know, it's all done with split screens. We can have Patrick Roach from Australia and myself, somebody from Florida, somebody from Utah. We can all be on there on the same page, and questions can be thrown at us, and we can just continue from there. It's one of those things where nothing like this has been done before for anybody that's in the curbing industry. You know, Patrick Roach had videos, you know, a long time ago trying to help those guys that were out there. What else has there been? You know, there's a few forums. Now we got, you know, some Facebook things. You know, the issue with Facebook is somebody asks a question on a post, and if you didn't see that right away, it's down on your Facebook page and you never see it. So you might ask the same question 2 days later, and somebody gives you crap for it because that question's already been answered, and then nobody wants to answer or ask any questions anymore. This is something where you can log in anytime you want, watch as many videos as you want, and if there is something that you need to know that is not in there, all you got to do is post a question and we do videos on it. It is a ongoing, continuing curbing education. So that will be set up, hopefully. I had it on here a little while ago, but hopefully in the next few weeks we'll have the actual website set up, because it is going to be linked to the Borderline USA site. So if you go to Borderline USA, it'll have online training. You click on that, that'll take you to a brand new website that's going to list everything on here, and you'll go ahead and have your access codes and things like that for those people that want to be members. So those are, you know, some of the things that we're trying to put together to help everybody. You know, obviously we're working with Tiger now. I got a couple other things that I'm going to kind of throw at you next week, with some equipment and some other things. But you know, the university that we're gonna be setting up right now is going to be fantastic for the industry, and I hope you guys like it. Thanks.